Alright guys, so I'm back with another God of War Ragnarok video. And actually this video, it's got a little bit of story to it. So I kind of like had initially done the voiceover, and I made a mistake with the voiceover, and the voiceover ended up starting like later in the video. So I had to re-edit. So it's the second audio through. But I wanted to talk to you guys about, to break it down. I mean, you guys are going to see, basically, I think this is good because it's a good opportunity to just kind of refine the video a little bit more. Because we're basically, I'm gonna take you guys through what I would consider, what probably a lot of players would consider like what is early game. I believe just before mid game. I think mid game might start in the next mission over. Basically, after you come back from, I believe after you just come back from Alfheim. I believe mid game might be considered the start of mid game, but essentially, so this would still be early game, and but what I would consider is not even early game, but pre-game. Basically, like pre-game is like basically when you start up the game and you're in like Fimbulwinter with like the survival armor, and then you really start getting into mid game. What would be considered, early game, you consider like Svartalfheim with the Nidavelir's finest placard armor, and then these two next armors that I'm going to showcase in this video right here. Because what it comes down to is, I'm going to show you right now. I'm still using the Nidavelir's finest placard, the full armor set, which I think is pretty good. It definitely helped me with a lot of these fights, being able to stun grab and get some more health back. Plus the stats on the armor is pretty good. This is Give Me God of War, so this is my second playthrough. I played No Mercy on my first, but this is Give Me God of War, and I've had a lot of opportunities to be able to like refine my play style, and then also my, basically my weapon skills. Definitely been applying a little bit more weapon skill to the axe, the Leviathan axe, as needed, because generally in Alfheim, just still really part of early game. Like as you'll see here, there's a lot of things that you're really prompted to use the axe, and one of the best skills that I would recommend for anyone and everyone is the R2, the throwing the axe with R2, which freezes an opponent. That's really good because it levels the playing field dramatically when you're going against 3 enemies or 4 enemies or more. You're able to basically immobilize one enemy 100%, so you're given the opportunity to focus on either one or two other enemies to bring their health down, stun them, get some stun grabs off, and then it's a little bit better for you instead of getting completely overwhelmed. Boss fights, it's more or less irrelevant, but a lot of boss fights are. But there's also, there's a lot of challenge encounters with a lot of enemies. So it's really good to be able to do that. So that's one thing. So you have the Leviathan axe throw. And actually later in this video, one thing that I did add, now that this has been edited, is the opportunity to like basically do some axe training, some Leviathan axe training, and then not only just Leviathan axe, but the bare fist Leviathan axe integration. The bare fist, basically fighting with the bare fist is very integrated with the axe. So it's almost like the axe and the bare fist they work well with each other, whereas I believe there is no transitions from. I might be wrong. If you guys know, let me know. But if there's no transitions from bare fist to Blades of Chaos. So the Blades of Chaos stand alone, but that's fine because they have a really good skill tree. But it's because I believe like Blades of Chaos really come in a lot more, especially like in mid game, because once you start going up against berserkers, and I'm gonna revisit the whole process. But one thing for sure is that early game. You have no choice basically in pre-game, and then early game, it is a lot of the Leviathan axe. As you can see in this gameplay, I'm using the Leviathan axe, got a little bit of help from that stun grab for the Nidavelir's finest placard. And right here, you see what I mean? I freeze one opponent, now block this attack, hit him with some Atreus arrows, break his shield. That guy's still frozen. Look at that, he just broke his freeze. Now, one thing that I have been practicing is my recall attack, chaining into other attacks, but because usually, more than likely, I'll just do a triangle recall, and then I'm not actually getting extra. Where in that situation, I saw that I might be able to do, but that's coming at the end of the video. So you get a stun grab, there you go, and then get some more health back, which is pretty good. It's very helpful, especially in Alfheim. The elves are really strong, both the light and the dark elves. and there's a lot of hard fights in Alfheim. With this is one of them. There's a lot of hard fights, and then you have the mini boss at the end of Alfheim. But one of the hardest encounters, other than this one, this is like preparation for like one of the hardest encounters in the game, where I did actually lose a lot in No Mercy, which is coming up in a little bit, so you guys can see how I handle it. And the game gives you in that scenario, the game gives you a lot of things. It gives you the mirrors, the reflective mirrors, which you're gonna need to really put a lot of damage. I believe this is it. Yes, this is one of the hardest encounters in the early game in Alfheim. So you have an elf that summons those orbs that do a tremendous amount of damage. You have 1, 2, 3 at least. I'm seeing 2 elves in the front, and then the other one included. And then so you're gonna see that's 1 stun. So right now on screen we got like 3, and then like but more elves start to come in. So the challenge doesn't increase in either. But you know, it's just like this is my second playthrough, so I have a good amount of like skills in this one compared to like the first time. It's like you have to know. I think in my first playthrough I was trying to use the Blades of Chaos because the Blades of Chaos are really fast. You know, with the Blades of Chaos you can actually stop those orbs as well. I didn't know you could do that. You just throw your blade at it and then it also gets rid of the orb for you. But in this case, the blades don't freeze your opponents. So these opponents, they're not big on projectiles, but the other enemies that are big on projectiles, which is like those I forgot what they're called, but those that spew poison in Svartalfheim, and you see them again. It is very helpful to use the blades because, well, for one, there's actually I believe it's a pommel or a grip on the blades that when you're doing the fire charge, that allows you to on the Blades of Chaos, that allows you to deflect incoming projectiles. Projectiles is it's a big part of the enemy. So right here, even you have nightmares. So like nightmares also are very big on the projectiles. It's a tough, and then they also have that rushing attack. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I went with the axe because I felt like the axe has the freezing attack on the axe is very indispensable. And then it gets to get like larger enemies like the trolls. The status effect from the fire is really helpful. That's why doing the flame whiplash and you know when you're charging up the blades, you get build up the flame, and then you do that smash onto the ground. I forgot what it's called. That one is so good against more or less the heavier bosses and enemy types later in the game, like closer to mid game and then end game. So basically, it's good to have on both. But on top, but regardless, the Leviathan axe tends to have more upgrades. Like it prioritizes the upgrades of the Leviathan axe over the Blades of Chaos. So at this point in time, my Leviathan axe, and that's me trying to like pick up everything that I can, and then all the joggers, all the side quests. Like I'm still higher ranked on the Leviathan axe than I am on the blades. So, the bare fist, they don't have a skill tree or an upgrade. So, but if you ask me, it's very, because it's so connected with. I guess it probably just upgrades with your shield as well, because as you upgrade in your strength, that's one of the things that goes up. Because as you can see, like against this Alva here, this Alva mini boss, I just went bare fist. And I didn't integrate the Leviathan axe. I think like towards the end of this fight, I actually just went with the Blades of Chaos. The Blades of Chaos are really good against single opponents. Really good because they do a lot of damage. They're faster. They tend to be faster in the blades than the Leviathan axe, the Blades of Chaos, but they don't have any, like the blades cannot, freeze an enemy, which is a big deal. And then the blades are, they cannot do the range that the Leviathan axe can do. So I did end up swapping out for one of the other runics with the blades, which I think is pretty good. And Alva has a lot of other attacks, but she didn't get to use them because in this case I was just really quick. I put a lot of pressure, and then with the Blades of Chaos I really did a lot of damage. So it's like, there you go. It was really good. Get some strength in. This is pretty much it with the blue ring. That's it. It's done. And that fight is over. So as you can see, like it's really beneficial to be able to kind of identify at what you feel most comfortable with in most fights. In my opinion, you got to see like how like right here more of the dark elves. These dark elves are really a serious challenge because they have those projectiles. I froze that guy, so right away get him out of the fight temporarily. Do an extra stun with Atreus' runic. This guy's already stunned. I'm gonna now hit him with the basically stun grab, and that's a KO. This guy, okay, so there he goes. Now another two. So my priority is gonna be to freeze one of them. You know, give me God of War. I don't think they hit me yet, but when they hit you once, like you're gonna feel it. So okay, go ahead and do that. That guy's powering up, as you can see, and if he did manage to get that, so now he's one level above. There you go. Freeze the guy that's powered up. Hit this. I don't know. Atreus was. I don't know how that guy was already stunned. Atreus' arrows just been doing work. Yeah, definitely want to hit those spam that square button and get those arrows in, because next thing you know, this guy's already stunned. So I'm going in. Now this guy's fully charged up. Hit that. Break his guard. Finish him off with that. I've been trying to integrate. My axe play has come a long way. It's definitely through necessity. And as you can see here, I've also changed armor. So at this point, I am using the. Went back in to make sure I know what it's called. I believe this is the Enlightenment. And so this one, yeah, because the next one is Radiance. So this is the Enlightenment, and this one gets you, I believe, increased runic and strength. So it has really good stats. Like if the Nidavellir was more about defensive vitality, this one's more about strength, which is pretty good, because I would say that the sooner you can get these elves out of the game, especially with two of them fully charged up with more strength, you can still get a good amount of defense, the better, and then you get decent runic. It's just increased strength. It's just you're gonna be able to KO enemies faster. And there's 3 on screen here. You see, I believe there's 3. Yeah, see what I mean? There's 3. So I still want to freeze a guy. You see, there's 2 powered up. I'm trying to see at this point, like towards the end of this video, you see I'm trying to like learn a little bit better about chaining. There's only so much you're gonna be able to do. So the Frost Awaken attacks are so good because they stagger. Still can't freeze them. You see what I mean? They're really trying to. This guy blocked it. I'm trying to get someone frozen, and these guys are just. So it's kind of difficult, but you know, that guy was like semi-frozen. It's crazy. There you go. Finally freeze the guy, but there you go. All right, so he's already trying to power up. Finish this guy off. So it's just a lot of damage. Trying to stay mobile. Finally froze one. So we're gonna go in now. Frost Awaken. Hit them both. Rake. It's nice to be able to also chain like a movement, for example, the Frost Awaken that requires an R1 hit first. It's a little bit out of context, because if you hit R1, if you're close enough to do damage, they can also do damage to you. So you want to keep the stagger, and you want to stagger as much as possible. So it's very, very like, you know, you're gonna do the rake is you want the rake to come at a time where either they're very staggered or they're at a perfect distance. And as you'll see, these guys are, because they're so fast, the gap gets closed. So towards the end, I was practicing that just to see how I can chain both the rake and one of the recall attacks that you'll see at the end, and then another basically another attack that I think is pretty cool. It's the one where you press R1, you delay, you enter another stance. The other stance attacks, those are pretty good, because a lot of times when you're fighting, you get a redirect quickly because you're attacking this guy, but there's a guy behind you, as you can see by the icon. So let's say I did like so, right immediately I gotta turn around. I like, you know, roll forward just to get out of the way of a potential you know, projectile. And then you'll see that's one of those things where you're outnumbered, and then sometimes you go center, and then your opponents are all around you or behind you. So you want to be able to be, you know, what I like is that the icon helps you get that extra awareness, and then it tells you if it's orange, it's on, it's oncoming, and then red, it's like an awareness. Honestly, red is like basically like, okay, even though you can't see them, it's coming. Yellow means you're safe. You have time, but there's somebody there. So then you go in, and you're gonna see like a lot of the delayed attacks. You can change the camera, and then, you know, you're basically changing the aim of your attack. And the thing is that they have a fixed range. So there you go. So do the Frost Awaken. There's also that's one thing I didn't practice. The combos that string with Frost Awaken attacks, which is probably really good to practice, because I use the Frost Awaken a lot. It's one of the best things that you can do, because for a little bit of time you charge to get a very powerful strike. So there you go. So you definitely want to do that a lot, because it applies frost. It staggers intensely, like it has the most stagger, and then it has the most damage. So Frost Awaken is so valuable. So there's definitely a lot of skills that I got to improve on, but I did start some preliminary skills, chaining some of the weaker but more refined tactical attacks. just to see if I can improve at chaining some of these things together. And like I said, it comes down to also the recall attacks, because there's two. I only have the one unlocked, but I like the other one actually because it pairs up with the runic, which is something that you use all the time. And the runic does, usually it staggers lower enemies, so it's a pretty good attack to chain. So that's just one thing, and that's coming up, as we approach the end of this fight here. And at this point, after basically once you have like free roam of Alfheim after freeing the Hofgava, like that jellyfish thing. So you basically you go into and you free roam, and then if you just there's encounters like this one to get the full set, and they are hard, but as you can see, my skill has improved to the point where I'm able on gmgow to finally get through these, whereas my No Mercy playthrough, given I was just like, I'm coming back, which I ended up doing anyway. But at this point, I'm capable and able to get the Radiance armor that you see here, basically, which gives you some realm shift. As you can see, like, I'm not sure if, because you probably saw it earlier, but I'm not sure if it's going to show again on last second dodge, a little bit of realm shift. Once you get all the armor, it improves your realm shift, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's the commander. As you can see how much, like, I'm raging and I'm still, like, look at how much damage I'm doing, hardly nothing. I'm gonna back up here. And the Radiance is pretty cool, especially against, look, there you go. See how realm shift twice. You see what I mean? Those little last second dodges, because you're outnumbered, you end up dodging a lot, so it's very helpful. It definitely helped me get through this fight, that's for sure, this encounter. And we're coming up close to the end of the video here, finish this guy. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. I'm just practicing chaining, and I still got to go in and practice chaining the Frost Awakens. So there you go. So this is the recall attack, 2 barehanded. And then I'm just trying to see, there's actually another one that I really like. So let's see, this is the next one I work on. Recall, but you could recall from like throwing at a frosted enemy. There you go. So the rake comes in seamlessly after one of those attacks. So you don't have to press R1 again to get a little basic attack. You can chain it with this, and there goes the rake. So that's pretty good. And then you always have that little finisher. But the interesting thing is that on those attacks that send the axe out, you can change your direction. Basically, once you're good enough, you could change the direction just by changing the camera, and that's where the attack's gonna go. There you go. So jumping, rake, and then throwing that in just to get some damage. But is that really, like, against enemies that are frontal? There you go. Some redirect. I actually liked this other one that you're gonna see. So you throw, and then you recall. 2 attacks, 3 recall, and then rake, and then back, throw. 2 attacks, recall. There's 2 parts of the recall, so it's 2 attacks, rake, and then back. And then this one, I'm just basically trying to see how much I can chain. And then I did end up figuring out a way to chain at the end for this other attack that I hardly ever use. Basically, hardly ever use it because you're vulnerable and it doesn't stagger that much. It just gets you like that proximity damage. You'll see right now. It's just where the axe is spinning around you. It's very cinematic. I like it. See, rake. Back and throw. There you go. That one. So that's not the chain that I like. I don't like to do the chain after that one, but I did like this one. So I believe it's here. Throw, 2 attacks, recall. Right there, because it's seamless. You see, as soon as you finish that one, your arm is already there. It's pretty much connected. So really, at least it feels very seamless. 2 attacks, recall. 2 swipes, the axe is already on the right hand, already there, and it's just like a second away, and it just pumps it. So that's the combo I ended up using, guys. Maybe you guys use it. I'd like to see some, like, maybe I see it in some more gameplays, but I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.